Welcome to Fear with Christine Spratley. Living like a head in charge, the podcast where Christine says fear, questions everything, and takes bold action. Christine Spratley is a former professional boxer, nanny, and 29-plus year corporate warrior turned founder of HBIC Advisors, where she is a public speaker and coach. She's been saying fear her whole life, many times without even realizing it. So tune in, spread the word, and get ready, because this isn't about aging with grace. It's about aging with mischief, audacity, and having a damn good story to tell.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome to Fuck Fear with Christine Spratley, living like an HBIC. Today, as you know, first of all, as you know, there are 4 areas that I try to cover, and I've covered a lot of especially I think the personal relationships and how we interact. I covered emotional intelligence, which we can take from our personal and into our professional lives. And then I've touched a little bit about, spiritual or stoicism or whatever you choose to practice, but I haven't really gotten into that. And I have not touched health for the most part. So we are touching health today. And part of the reason we're touching health is because I have been, if I tell this story right, and I just kind of prepped Joe before we started to give him a warning about what the segment was about. And in telling him this, I said, I realized that I was menopausal, not because my doctor told me. I realized it because I had an app on my phone that had all of my labs and stuff, and I was bored doing something one day, and I was going through my labs in 2020, and realized that my labs came back as menopausal, and they were higher than just perimenopausal labs, and so I went and I talked to my doctor about it, and he was like, well, and I don't know how many women have ever heard, and so, and I remember talking briefly about hormone replacement therapy, and it just wasn't all that embracing of it and everything. So I didn't do anything. And I finally, this past year, we are in 2025, I started hormone replacement therapy. And it was a hard road for me to get there. One, because I had to do a lot of research to find out, fact from fiction and different things. But I ended up finding a doctor and a facility that I am on pellets now. But I want to talk to you today a little bit about that journey. Now, if you're sitting there and you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or early 50s, but if you're younger and you're like, yeah, I don't need to know this, listen. Because one of the best books that I've read, and again, best as far as informing me, I'm not saying best out there, best whatever, but was very good at educating me about my body. I mean, was basically, it's if I get this right, it's called Your Brain on the Pill. And it is really amazing. For me, I remember reading it, and I remember telling a friend of mine, I said, how can I be 54 years old? I'll be 55 in September. How can I be 54 years old and have lived in this damn body this damn long and not know anything about it? And it's not like I don't know about it. I know when I'm fat. I know when I'm overweight. I know when I have zit. But like how it actually functions inside of me. And it just blew my mind. And I'm not even embarrassed to tell you that I didn't know all this stuff. It's very confusing. And I was never encouraged to talk about my body, let alone understand my body. And the more I find out about the lack of, how do I want to put this? Attention to women's health, our actual bodies, and what goes on and the way that it affects our being. And that's the one thing I really didn't grasp until I started reading that book and stuff. And then I've read other books since, and I've also read and listened to different podcasts on menopause and things like that. But it affects our being. And if you're a guy listening to this, don't turn this off. It affects your wife, your daughters, your mom, your auntie, your girlfriend, whoever. It affects our being. And that's what I want to tell you. So if you're younger and you're going, I don't need to listen to that. No, stay tuned. It's important. And I put off doing this because there's some things that I feel very confident in talking about because I've worked through some of this shit for the most part, or at least I've under the illusion that I've worked through it. But this, I'm still going through it. I'm still navigating, and I don't have all the answers. So I'm not presenting it to you like these are the answers and end all and be all. But these are things that I've gone through. And I'm going to tell you about what happened yesterday. I am 54. I am separated from my husband, and I am at the stage in my life where I had an IUD. I've had them for many years, and don't need to have one anymore. I'm not having. There's no way that I'm getting pregnant. And so I set an appointment to have it taken out. And if any of you have gone through this, I'm one of the women who, when I have my IUD put in, I get to a point of passing out. And just if you've not had an IUD, just if that's something that you're going to go do, think about that and talk to, read about it. But it is for me, and not every woman. I've talked to many women about it. Some women, it's been very painful. Some women haven't had an issue with it as far as putting it in and then also taking it out. For me, it's literally my body goes, what the fuck? And I can handle a lot of pain. Was a pro boxer for a long time. And it got to the point for me where I pass out. I get lightheaded. I remember the second time, they took it out and replaced it. And I sat up and I just laid out. And they're like, okay, you lay back down. I was like, no, I am laying back down. That's where I'm at. You don't even need to put me back down. So I knew I was getting it taken out yesterday. And so I said, well, maybe I won't go to my physio after this. And I was actually supposed to tape yesterday, Joe, and I canceled that just in case. And because not only for me is it hurt while that happens, and it's a short time, but it hurts. But then I have incredible cramps and then spotting. So I'm gonna walk you through. Women, we've gone through this, right? We walk into the office from the time we're little to 54. I walk in and we get our vitals. They give us a gown. And by the way, the gowns are, the one that I had yesterday was actually cloth, which was so nice. And it was nice and soft, which is such a nice thing when you're stripping down butt naked. And you get up on the table, and this is what if there's any men out there listening, I want you to think about this. And for women, as I walk through this, you'll know this. So we get up there, and there's my new kind of OBGYN. He comes in and he says, there's a young woman. She's, a student. Can she come in? Fine. Been here, done this. I know what the deal is. Yeah, bring her in. Let's go. Let's have some fun. And then, of course, the assistant comes in. So he's like, first, we're going to do your breast exam and all this stuff. And by the way, if your OBGYN does not have this, I thought it was actually really good. They now have a carton of lemons that will show you what different things around your breast should look like when they're messed up. Now, while that sounds, what? It's actually, for me, it was very helpful because I never knew, other than a lump, what it could be wrong with my breast, like what it would look like, what a bump would look like, or any of that. And so it was actually nice to be able to see, oh, that's what wrong could look like. And I tell you this because I never felt when I went in there that I knew. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know. And I did not feel confident at all. And I'm 54 to ask a bunch of questions. Now, I think I felt more confident over time, but it was nice to actually, how little of something is that? You know, you see a carton of lemons and they go, well, this is what it would look like if it was, you know, if the lump were here or if you had discharge here. And I don't know, that sounds so silly, but it's something I guarantee you a lot of us older women, we never had. So it's kind of like feeling around, fumbling in the dark going, oh, does that feel weird? I don't know. What's weird? And it's also hard because then you're like, is this weird? And then, you know, you go like to your husband, does that feel weird? And he's like, no, that doesn't feel weird. You know, he's like, ooh, booby instead. And so again, it's nice for us to have that. So the way this works is, and women, you know this, but for anybody who doesn't, you know, you sit up, you're sitting at the end of the table, you're naked, except you've got this robe on, you take the robe down, and then they do the air traffic controller. Okay, go like this. Okay, go like this. So he can see, you know, how your boobs move and everything. Okay, now we're going to lay down. And he does the same thing. And and then he does the little, you know, or she, you know, for me, it was a guy, you know, doing the round thing, you know, around touching your boob and checking for lumps or checking for just, you know, nodules. And again, this is my first time meeting this doctor, a student who I'd never met and a assistant. And the only thing that was different about that was that it was a new doctor for me. But other than that, we've all walked into these rooms. We may have known our OBGYN. Maybe the assistant's still there from the last time, maybe not. But again, we are naked there and they're doing this. Now, there's nothing wrong with this at all. But what I would like, how different it is if a man had to go in and stand in front of 3 people that he knew, maybe one. Okay, say it was a female doctor and 2 nurses, drop his drawers, and then have his, you know, balls and his dick hang out and go, okay, lift your left leg up. Okay, now wing it around. Okay, lift your right leg up. Okay, now lay down. Now let me feel it. You know, let me touch this. Does that hurt? No? Okay, all right. And it's funny because I was talking to how different that would be. I mean, I don't know. Guys, you guys have a hard time coughing, you know? Oh, no. We've been doing this since we were little girls. This is what happens to our bodies. And I was laying there yesterday going, this is just really wild. I am not offended. I don't feel threatened or anything, but how open am I and my body to just whoever's in the room? And they were respectful. There was nothing, anything inappropriate or anything wrong. But I just wanted to just go, wait a minute. This is how you are treating this body. This is my body and how intimate this is. And I never looked at it as an intimate situation whatsoever. And because it was just what we did. It's just what we do. And I thought for literally a second, I was like, wow, I don't know many guys that could do this. You know, I don't know many guys that would be able to handle that. And I'm not saying, I talked to a friend of mine, she's like, well, that ain't fair. It's not about being fair. We've got different stuff. But I'm saying respect. Respect that it's different for us. Respect that it's important to us, that it's part of our dignity. And women, I think one of the conversations you can have with your loved ones, with whomever that is of the opposite sex, that doesn't have to go through that, explain it to them like it's theirs. Like literally, okay, babe, let me put it to you this way. This is what it would be like, you know? And see what that, then maybe they'll start to understand, whoa, what did they do? Okay.
Christine Spratley doesn't hide her life. She's real about it, warts and all. After leaving 29 plus years in corporate, she founded HBIC Advisors with one mission: be a fierce ally for women to stop waiting for permission to live boldly. If you want your audience to unapologetically run until apprehended toward fulfillment, Christine is your next podcast guest. Warning: may cause spontaneous HBIC badassery. Book her now at christinespratley.com.
So I'm laying there, and he's like, okay, now you're going to feel this pain. Do you want to know? And I said, yes, Sam, I want to know. I want to know. Don't you sneak up on me with this shit. I need to know. And he goes, okay, I'll tell you. And so I'm laying there, and he, starts getting ready, and I started crying. And this was the part that I didn't know where it came from. And I just started crying, and he goes, okay, 1, 2, 3, boom, it happened, and then my body just shuts down, and part of that is like I said, the vagus nerve goes, what the fuck, and I kind of was like, he's like, all right, and then he noticed I was crying. He came up and he grabbed my hand, and I just he thought it was the pain, and it wasn't the pain this time. And he said, I said, I don't have kids. I don't have any more kids. And he said, he didn't know what I meant by that. And many of you don't know this, but I've never given birth. I have 2 amazing and wonderful stepchildren, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. And I've been so blessed, but I've never actually given birth. And so what kind of happened was I realized, and I've been, like I said, menopausal since 2020, at least. And so I knew I was not going to have any more children if I would, any children, not anymore, but any children. But as a woman, for me anyway, to realize that part of me is gone, never to return, that gift of life that we get to give is no longer there and a part of you. It was a very sad part that I experienced yesterday. And I don't have, it wasn't regret in the sense of, God, I wish I would have had kids, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. It just didn't happen. We're all given different gifts in life. And we all make different choices for different reasons. And there's no way I would change anything because I want to be where I'm at today. But when that happened yesterday, I felt every part of being a woman. But I also felt every part of my youth kind of washing away. And this just moment. And what was so wild about this, and I'm really kind of actually proud of myself because I didn't rush me. Most of the time you go, okay, all right, I'm fine. And we do that. And, oh yeah, I'm good. And I didn't, I just laid there with it, and I couldn't give words. And they were wonderful. They were absolutely amazing. I don't know that student is going to do that. I don't know if it helped her process of education. But I just laid there and I just cried. And, I know I'm grieving and all that wonderful stuff, but But to me, it really was a moment where I realized the power of us as women. Men don't get to do this. And I say get, because it is a blessing. And they don't get to have this ability and then have it go away. And it's not something that we control. We don't get to go, oh, no, I think I want a few more years on this. This is something that goes with our time. And it's just part of our path. And as a woman, there was a real intimate moment yesterday with myself where it was like, okay, this part of my life is past. And I'm fully embracing this new part and this new journey. It also means that I have to look back and say goodbye to some of that others and other part that I don't get to have anymore. And it's been a really interesting path for me because I have friends that are younger than me and they're in their 30s and they're hearing that tick tock, and they're trying to figure out, they've got their shit together, but God, do I want to have kids? Everybody else is having kids. Everybody else is married. Everybody else is doing this stuff. Everybody else is, and we're just having conversations. And some of the, our my friend groups have had children. Some have not. Some have, some are older. I think I'm the oldest one in the group, and I don't have. I was never able to give birth, and that was by choice. But I did raise, with my husband, stepchildren with their mom, and was given many gifts for that. So I understand that. I understand that struggle. And if you're going through something like that, just explore it. Just explore it. And don't beat yourself up. When I went through my thought around having children, I was really, I was very into, that's all I wanted when I was younger. And that's all I wanted was a family. And the hard thing for me was I still wanted to, and my husband did not, because he was already blessed with Brady and Madison. And so I had to do some work, and I chose to do some work. I didn't have to, but I chose to do some work and really look at, okay, what does it mean? And what is driving me to do this? And can I love the children that I've been given through this marriage and, as my own and things of that nature. And I was able to do that. So I came to my decision and my path. So I just want you to know that as you go through and you sort these things out, I don't look back and regret, but what I've learned about life, and I'll get to the rest of this podcast, but what I've learned about life for me is there are some gifts that I won't have. I did not have a family and was raised in a family that was very stable. As if you've listened to my podcast, you may know I ran away when I was 18. It was not a home life for me, and I've stayed away for the most part. And so when I look back and I see other people have those family reunions and all that stuff, I don't have that. And that's by choice, okay? But some people have tried over the years to say, well, you fill that up. That gets filled up. And for a long time, I tried to fill it. I tried to fill that hole with something. And what I've realized now for me is that I don't fill the hole. I don't fill the hole. It doesn't hurt as much. I don't even think about it sometimes. But then there are some days where I go, oh, yeah, I wish I would have had that. I wish that would have been different. I wish I would have not had that hole. And then some days it hurts. And then some days it aches. and then I move forward, and then other days it doesn't. So it's not that I focus on it every day or that I feel it emptiness or anything. And that's kind of how it was for me yesterday. Was I don't regret one moment of the decision not to have children, because I don't get everything that I have right now if I make different choices. But it is a gift. It is a gift, and it is a whole. And I don't try and stuff my stepkids and put them in there like that or anything like that. No, they've got their own space. They're not trying to fill my voids. I just have a void there. And some days I'm going to miss it. And some days it's going to hurt. And other days it's going to ache. And then other days I'm going to walk on and go, oh, yeah, I didn't do that. That's all right. And I think for me, that was yesterday, where it just ached. And I got up and, clean, like we do, we clean ourselves up and we put our stuff on. When we go out, and I made some comment, funny comment, made them laugh, and everybody, went, and, and for me, I don't know about the rest of you women out there, but for me, that meant that yesterday and today, I still have cramps really bad and I'm bleeding. One of those things, again, Joe, I'm just not sure. I've been obviously not bringing you into this conversation just because I didn't want to.
I don't have a lot to add.
You don't have a lot to add. But, last time I checked, I don't think men like things, blood coming from any orifice, rather, let alone a private part. And, but yet it's like, oh yeah, you're going to spot. You're going to bleed. And so it's one of those things where, yesterday and today I've been in pain and I've been nauseous and we just pick up and go on. I must have sat in that. I literally was texting some of my friends because funny thing. So I do my mugshot crew. My mugshots didn't go out till about 9:30 yesterday. And I did it from the garage parking lot of my OBGYN's office because I couldn't drive. I was in too much pain. And literally one of my buddies that I used to work with at Deloitte texted me and he's like, hey, how you doing? I was worried about you. Didn't see these come through, And I go, you want to know? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, here you go. And he's like, damn, that's gotta suck. And I was like, yeah, it did. But I say all this to I just want us to take a second and think about wherever stage you're at in your life as a woman, or if this is your partner as a woman, your daughter's, your mom, whatever, wherever she's at, the woman in your life, whether it's her or it's you or it's someone else, how many times has she gone through something like that with her body, with the most intimate parts of her body? How many times have we done it? Where it's just, okay, well, here it is. All right, okay, here we go. Check out my boobs. All right, let's go. And just hope nothing's wrong. But we forget. And we don't even acknowledge, because I didn't, that they're really touching and examining a temple. The abilities that we have as women is just pretty amazing and remarkable. We have the ability to do that. And if you're listening to this and you don't have, and you're female and you do not have the ability to have children, what is amazing to me, because I've had miscarriages, okay? And, ooh, that's hard. I didn't know where that came from. Thought I had worked through that one. But it was really hard for me because I felt that was something wrong with my body. And actually, the way that I've learned is that's my body telling me, no, I'm protecting you. And that's how incredible our bodies are. That is how powerful they know us. That is how incredibly powerful that they go, nope, nope, we need to protect you. Anyway, that's the way I've seen it for me, and that's the way that it was explained to me. And that's the way that I choose to do it. So if you have a different take on that, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that's my way. And for any woman who cannot have a child, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your temple. And there's nothing wrong for you to want to have children and not be able to. But like I always say, you are enough. Okay? I am enough. You are enough. And that is the beauty of learning to love who we are and what we are as women. I'm going to have voids in my life. I'm not going to get to ride every ride. I'm going to miss out on things of beauty and amazement. I'm going to not taste every ice cream flavor. And I'm sometimes going to feel like I've tasted more pain than I have joy. But this is my life. And living it is the joy. I don't know where to put all of this, that we go through. But I do know that it's just part of the journey for me. And so whatever you're at with your body and whatever you're getting ready to do, or like if you're older like me and you're getting ready to move past and move on, for me, it's just looking back and going, it's been a good ride. That part of me has been a good ride. It's been a good journey. It's been a hard journey. I haven't always been the brightest bulb in the batch. Didn't make all the right decisions. But I'll take my voids, because then I have, on this other part of my soul, I have these amazing murals that were painted by myself and by others that I've let in. And so I know I'm talking about our health. And I didn't even get to the other part, which will come in a different segment. But that's what I'm starting off with. And I'm going to invite you along the journey with me as I go in out of this fruitful stage, I'll call it, and into this other stage. And I haven't figured out a word for it, but it sure as hell ain't barren. It's something better than that. And I'll think of something. But as I go into that, wherever you're at, just embrace that part. Because as I get older and I look back and I go through these gates, if you will, of our lives, it's amazing. It's amazing. We have an amazing gift, and that is our bodies. So I'm going to learn more about it and share it with you. I'm going to try to be honest as I can and share my journey with you as far as what I've learned and how ignorant I've been about my body and myths that I thought, and things that I'm doing. One thing I will tell you is, don't take my word for shit. I've lived my experience and have my knowledge. You go get yours. Go read different books. Go understand different things about your body, about your temple. and start having those conversations. Hell, send me stuff. People text me shit all the time. Not text me, but they email me stuff all the time. Hey, did you know? Boom, 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 boom. And that's how I learn more. That's how I get out of just a certain perspective, or that's how I found out the book, Your Brain on the Pill. So again, understand as much as you can about you. And part of that is understanding your body. I wish you the best today. And I'm excited about this new journey that I'm on, this new stage. And I'm also a little bit scared. Okay, I'm a lot scared, but I'm also very excited. So this next few segments are going to be about health and what I'm finding out. And until then, ladies, tubs.
Thanks for tuning in to Fear with Christine Spratley, living like a head in charge. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, tell her what topics you want to hear, and share this episode with someone who could use a pantry full of boldness in their life. Remember, life isn't about aging with grace. It's about aging with mischief, audacity, and having a damn good story to tell. So show up, take action, and keep saying fear.